Hey everybody, this is Nick Chalon, the former Air Force and Space Force Chief Software Officer. I'm also the founder of AskSage, bringing GPT and integrating it with custom datasets, APIs, live queries to be able to bring these capabilities to government teams to accelerate your capabilities and save you time. We get so many questions about AskSage, so we wanted today in this video to show you a little bit around AskSage and how this works and kind of give you a little bit of insights both in how to query Sage but also how to train it as well. Alright, so the first thing you're going to see here is your login screen. Of course, if you have not yet created an account, you go to register here and you'll be able to do that if you have a CAC. A smart card for the government, you'll be able to also use that for login. But first, you need to register your account with the CAC in the device, and so you'll be able to put your name, last name, and don't lie, because if you don't put the information, we're going to block your account. So put all the information, country, read the terms and conditions, and then of course you go and submit. Now, when it comes to authenticating, of course, if you lose your password here, you can click here, log in with the CAC. But if you just want to log in with a username and password, here it is. We're going to have MFA options, of course. When you log in, the first thing you're going to see is a pop-up giving you a little bit of insights. First, make sure you join the Discord community here. We have a lot of people there and asking questions, answering questions. And then watch our videos here on introduction to Sage and how to ingest. And of course, if you have issues, you have the support email and the sales email if you have questions about tokens and how to create custom decision trees and augment Sage capabilities as well. Here in the list, you're going to see a lot of new features we're adding, and we publish and release software every day, multiple times a day, using DevSecOps, of course. And so you're going to see here some of the latest features we've been working on. But we're going to show you this today, so this is going to be interesting. Alright, so the first thing you see here in the interface is you have your chat history here. You can create a new chat, clear a chat, and you can do the same with commands, right? So if I ask, who is Nick Chalon, and I do that query here, well, of course, you get that answer. If I were to ask a different question, like something about how to code or something on a different topic, we always tell people to create a new chat, right? So you have a whole new fresh history. So you can click here on new chat, but you can also do /new here and be able to create a new chat. You can also go back and clear and just do /clear to clear the chat, or just click on clear selected chat here. Alright, so now here you can see, of course, you can delete some of the history you have, and here at the bottom here, you're going to see options to customize your query. So first of all, you're going to see use live queries, and that is a checkbox that you activate or deactivate. If you check it, that means it's going to go search real-time data from Google or Bing. And so the beauty there is, GPT has been trained in 2021, so it's stuck in time. So if you ask who is the governor of Arkansas, it's going to give you the wrong answer if you don't check the live box. So if you want to get real-time data and you want to really have the latest information, you need to check live queries here. Then you have here personalities. So what that means is, by default, Sage is programmed to be a helpful assistant, but it's not really specialized in anything. But it can probably answer all the questions the same. But if you want to have a discussion with a precise persona, and we can create a new persona, so don't hesitate to reach out to us if you see a persona that's not listed here. But let's say you want to talk to legal assistant, and keep in mind, of course, all the advice we give you, you need to validate that with a actual lawyer. Same for accountant and things like that. Read the terms and conditions again. But here, as you can see, we have contracting officer, we have a call, we have a DevSecOps engineers, software developer, scientists, a program manager. So if you want to talk to a program manager, you want to talk to a scientist, you want to talk to an electrical engineer, you can do that and just ask the question. So what's interesting here is if you, let's say we're going to pick a DevSecOps engineer here, and we ask, who are you? Well, as you can see, the information here is customized because now it's here to help us with DevSecOps and software operations questions. All right, so now if we clear the chat and we go to maybe a SpecOps engineer and we ask again, who are you? And don't forget to clear the chat again. If you don't clear the chat, it's going to get confused, right? Because it's swapping between different personas. So always clear the chat between personas. Now it's telling you I'm a space operation engineer with decades of experience, blah, blah, blah. So the temperature here is also very interesting. It's a parameter from OpenAI and Cohere that define the level of randomness in the generated text. So if you wanted to stick to facts, you probably want a temperature down to 0. But if you want it to be more imaginative, you want to maybe increase that, maybe 0.5 all the way to 1. But keep in mind, if you want to stick to facts, you want to go close to 0. Now, the last option here is your model. So GPT is 10 times cheaper and is the same model that you would see inside of ChatGPT. It's biased. It has a lot of political bias. It's definitely 10 times cheaper, so that's the default model. It will be able to answer most of the questions, but if you find bias, or if the model tells you that it cannot help you, then what we tell you to do is to try the DaVinci model. The DaVinci model is actually the foundational model of OpenAI, the most advanced. That's what GPT also uses, but the GPT model was fine-tuned and has some bias in it. So if you want to just have no bias, and if you're ready to pay a little bit more, right, it's 10 times more expensive per token. So DaVinci will be able to do anything. There's no limitation to what it can do, so use DaVinci to do that, and of course follow the terms and conditions of OpenAI so we don't get into any kind of trouble. Now, as you can see, we also added another model called Cohere, and that's a company that's also bringing their own models. It's a little bit more limited in number of tokens, so it's half the size of DaVinci and GPT, but it's going to be able to run air gaps, so we hope to be able to bring this to the high side for classified use cases. So that's going to be exciting as well. And we're going to be also working with others like Google and many others that will be bringing their model, and we're going to be able to support as many models as possible. And the beauty also is the custom training and the custom data we bring into Sage is agnostic to the model. So if you train Sage and you ingest data, whether it's structured, unstructured data, tapping into APIs, all the custom work we can do for you to augment the data that Sage knows about, you'll be able to use that with any model. And that's so important, right? Because we don't want our customers to be locked into one model. And if you train, and fine-tune one model, obviously then you're stuck to that version of the model. And if you look at GPT, it's going to be releasing, new models every month, every quarter. So you would have to retrain the model. Just not effective, cost effective, and also not efficient. So by being agnostic, obviously that brings a ton of value. All right, so a lot of people ask us how to train Sage, and of course we have different APIs for paying customers. We also have parsers in PDFs, YouTube video scripts. We have a lot of different options, but that's something we'll do for you. So reach out to us directly at sales@asksage.ai. But then we also give you a command to be able to train Sage on text-plain content. So it's not able to ingest, files or anything like that, but you can copy and paste some text, and Sage will be able to understand that. You need to give it context when you do that, so I'll show you how we do that. But also keep in mind, it's only gonna train that content to your specific user. It's not gonna be, pushing that content to other users. It's only for you, but we can also, if you have a team, we can share that content to other users as well, so that way they'll be able to really share across people, but it's not gonna make the bot biased across users that don't want that. So if you take a look at the /train or /learn command, it's the same. It's just two different aliases. But if you do /train, what you want to do is give a little bit of context first. For example, let's say you want to tell Sage who you are, and so it knows your resume, right? So you could say this is the resume of Nick Chalon, and then you would copy and paste the resume here. Keep it ideally under 500 tokens, and one token is 4 English characters, right? So keep it each input. You want to keep it short and tight, down to 500 tokens. You can do up to 2,000, but we really recommend for you to stick to 500 and do multiple of them, right? So you can cut it into pieces if you want to, but stick to 500 or summarize it. Use Sage to summarize. So you could say, hey, summarize this content with the DaVinci model, the GPT model. It's going to be able to give you a much smarter version of your resume, for example, and then you can ingest that with the train or /teach command. So here you would tap, whatever the resume is, and you would hit enter, and it will tell you how many tokens it has ingested, and with your paying access, you get more tokens, so you can buy more tokens to be able to train the bot. And that's the easy way to ingest plain text content, but like I said, we can integrate to APIs, data lakes. We can ingest data for you, so you can just give us access to whatever data, all the way to CUI, and we can integrate those data sets for your users, your team, and no one else is going to be able to see that. We have a full data centricity security stack to protect the data sets, and it's all hosted on Azure Government. So again, don't try to send files, right, to Sage. Sage is not capable of downloading files. It's not able to send emails. We're thinking about how we could do that safely, right? There's a lot of cyber issues there. So it's text, right? So you ask questions, it replies. If you ask a question about coding, it's going to give you the code, and you can copy and paste it, of course, and then use it. But it's not going to be able to send emails or anything like that. It might tell you, and we'll talk about hallucinations, but this is not what Sage can do. It's really plain text and be able to have a conversation, right? All right, so if you want to see your tokens and also which data sets you have access to, and keep in mind we have access to a lot of customized data sets that we ingest, Chinese intelligence, Russian intelligence, and so on. So check that out, right? Because you can actually pay to get access to specific data set that we have access to. It's an extra cost per month, but we have some pretty amazing data sets on intelligence data and stuff. But here you will see, all your default data sets that you have access to, and here's your custom user data sets. It's going to be a different number for you. And then you see also how many tokens you have used, both in terms of the querying and the training of the Sage capability. So you can see how many you use per month and how many total you have available on a monthly basis. All right, so let's talk a little bit about hallucinations, right? That's a very big issue with any kind of generative AI model, and you're going to see that all the time. The bot is going to make stuff up, particularly for stuff it doesn't know about. That's why it's so important we train it and give it more data so it's aware. It's going to be less likely to happen if you check the live query option. All right, so we're going to make it hallucinate on purpose. So we're going to say, who is Austin Bryan from AskSage, and Austin does not work for AskSage. He works for Defense Unicorn, so we know that's already wrong. Give me links and references. So we're going to make it hallucinate effectively, come up with bogus answers on purpose. And see, we added this feature where if links provided by the bot as references don't exist, then he's going to tell you that, and that's a good insight. It's not always true because the links can go down, and they might just not work right now. But it's good tell that this is a hallucination, right? Because it's saying it's a CTO of AskSage, which is wrong, and it's giving you 2 links to demonstrate that, and the links don't exist. So that's a good tell that it's a hallucination. So to prevent hallucinations, of course, don't mislead the bot and give it, insight that are wrong, but also check those references, ask for references. GPT might be less likely to hallucinate, but not always. But even that, right, the key, I guess, is to always check the references and make sure you trust but verify. All right, so now let's look at how to properly use prompts, right? There's a lot of videos on that, so we recommend you check a lot of those GPT prompt engineering videos. And honestly, that's a skill you must acquire. It's going to be so important for your career. So you want to become really good at asking questions, but you want to understand that you want to phrase things the right way, right? So English majors will do a great job, which is not me. But let's see, a couple of examples, right? So if I ask, can you do X, right? That is not a good way to ask a question, because it's going to say, yes, I can do it, instead of doing it, right? If you wanted to write whatever it is you wanted to do, just say write, right? So if I say write Node.js code to display a Google map with its API. All right, so as you can see here, we got the code and we can copy it just here. We improve the displaying of code with all the formatting and coloring here. That's pretty cool stuff. You get some examples and some insight here. So that's a good example of a code thing, and you can follow up, right? Keep in mind we only give like 5 follow-up answers, so always create a new chat if you change topic, and if you really want more insight, it's always good to somewhat give it again the context, right? So you can follow up on what was provided already. Now, what you can do also is ask it to speak with a tone. So you could say, in the tone of Nick Chilon, write a LinkedIn post to explain to explain the benefits of Ask Sage for the Department of Defense. And you can also add things like 500 words. So the more context, you can say concise, or you can say detailed, right? So words matter, right? So you always want to think about, if you're not getting the results you want to get, it's not the bot's fault, it's your fault. So you need to rephrase or improve that, and always clear your chat. If it's getting confused, start again and ask the question again. So here again, as you can see, we got a good piece of text explaining the benefit of Ask Sage for the DoD, right? And now it's speaking with my voice, my and we ingest a lot of my content, so he knows where I am. You could do the same, with Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or whatever, right? Based on the tone you wanna have. Now, something we've done also is integrating with different APIs, and in this case, the FAA METAR for the weather, right? So if I ask, what is the METAR for IAD, which is the Dulles Airport in Virginia, it's going to give me the weather here, but as you can see, that's coded. So if I'm a little bit smarter, and from the get-go, I would have said in plain English, right? So I could have said that from the first prompt. Now it's going to be able to give me that, but this time in plain English. Here we go. So Sage is also very good at anything related to text, right? So summarizing, categorizing, for me, I use it to write my post on LinkedIn, Twitter. You can create the great hashtags and so on. But here's a use case where we use a Chinese resume in JSON with 150 fields, a lot of information there in Chinese, in JSON, and we ask it to summarize and translate. All right, so let's take a look. Summarize and translate. And I copy and paste that JSON file with a bunch of fields and information, right? And we're gonna use the DaVinci model because we don't want any bias here. So now it's just summarize what would be, even if you put it on Google Translate, right? It's 150 fields, very difficult for the human brain to comprehend who the person is, right? But now here you go, you have that person in front of you, the skills, what they do, you can see their degrees and age and so on. So again, sky is the limit, between writing RFPs, answering RFPs, writing posts, marketing, writing code in pretty much anything, including DevSecOps, things like Kubernetes, YAML code, and all that stuff. we find complex decision trees too, right? Like go flying decision, we can tap into 20 databases. You actually asked about one question, but behind the scene is gonna aggregate data and then be able to give you the right insights. We have use cases where people use it for cases and very large amount of data, summarizing hundreds of pages, and be able to give you the most important insights in just a large amount of data. So one thing that comes to mind when it comes to ingesting large amount of data, right? We're limited with the number of tokens we can ingest per ingest. And so if you had to ingest, for example, a large book, the limit is about 4,000 to 8,000 tokens, depending on the model. But again, that's too much anyways. If you convert that to characters, one token is 4 English characters. So a book is going to be way bigger than that, right? 4,000 tokens will be 16,000 characters. That's like 10 pages. So what you would do is you would ingest each chapter of the book, but then we would ingest with summarization too, right? So what we would do is we'll ingest a full chapter, and then we'll also get a summary of the chapter, and then we summarize the summary of the chapters all together to be able to get a full summary of the book. Now you have a full summary of the book, you have a summary of the chapters, and you have a full ingest of the chapters. And with that, if someone asks a precise question about one chapter, it's going to tap into the precise answer. But if it's about the broader book, then it's going to tap into the summarized version. That's how we do it. That's just a good way to think about it. Same thing for like resumes, right? If you ingest 5,000 resumes, it's only going to return the top 4 results, right? So what you want to do then, let's say you're asking a question about a precise person, it's fine because it's going to be part of the top 4, so you're going to get the right answers. But if you were asking, who from these people can code in Python, that would not work because you would only get the top 4 results. So what we do then, we would ingest with categorization to be able to categorize by skills, and so that way we would have also the list of the people per skill. So that's what the bot would use, and then you could follow up and say, tell me more about this person, and then it would be able to look into that specific person with more insights. So again, this is how we think about data ingests. So all these use cases, reach out to us at sales@AskSage.ai, and we'll be able to explain to you how this works, the different things to pay attention to on how to ingest and summarize data and categorized data. So all these options are there. If you have more questions, reach out to us on Discord or by email. And again, thank you for being with us in this new Sage capability, and we hope this is going to be able to bring you tremendous value. For me, it's been able to at least save between 60 to 80% of my time. It's just mind-boggling. So the more you use it, the more you get comfortable. It's replaced for me Google, Stack Overflow, and so on. It's really game-changing. So thanks for watching.